Every alignment in Heroes of Might and Magic 2 can build a special building in their castles that provides a special benefit to that castle or to the faction as a whole. Today we're going to be tier ranking them from S to D. Hello everyone, my name's Ross. Welcome to Kelvin's Coin TV, and this is Heroes of Might and Magic 2. I think it's important to talk about how I'm going to be tier ranking these buildings, what the rubric is. First, what is the impact of the unique benefit that building is providing as compared to other buildings? Two, how much does it cost? Now, those are the two overarching questions. But if we're going to dive into how much does it cost, we want to look at, does it require my alignment's primary resource to build? Is it more beneficial to build it early as opposed to later? And we're going to assume that building it earlier means that it's more valuable because we want it there sooner and for longer. And is it taking up too much of my gold or other resources we can be using to build other buildings? So with that in mind, the first building we're going to be looking at is going to be the Rainbow. Now, this is a sorceress-specific building. Only the sorceress can build this in sorceress castles. It provides +2 to luck for defending armies. So when enemies attack a castle that has a rainbow, any creature in the garrison gets +2 to their luck. Luck happens randomly on a battlefield, and the higher your luck, the higher the chance that good luck will be bestowed upon one of your creatures. When that happens, that creature deals double damage. We've talked a lot about luck and morale on this channel before, and I do value it pretty highly. And when you consider what a rainbow costs to build, this is actually not a bad building to have. Rainbow only costs 1,500 gold and 10 crystal. Now it costs crystal and not sulfur, which is way more important to a sorceress. Sulfur lets them upgrade their Stonehenge to get greater druids, and also to build the red tower to recruit the Phoenix. And the Phoenix itself also costs 1 sulfur per unit to recruit. So sulfur not being involved in the construction of a rainbow is actually kind of cool. It's difficult to put the rainbow on a super high tier because of the fact that it doesn't increase the luck of all your heroes anywhere on the map. It's only the ones defending a castle. And if your castle's getting attacked, you're probably going to lose the battle. I'm not sure how many times luck bails you out of that. So I'm actually going to put it in a B tier for now. Luck is really cool. A rainbow doesn't cost that much for a sorceress, and it's a rainbow. It's beautiful. It looks amazing. But because it's only for defending troops, I can't put it in any tier higher than B. Let me know in the comments if you would actually have even ranked it lower. The next building we're going to talk about is Fortifications. Fortifications is the knight's unique building, and it does essentially what it says. It fortifies walls. It means that when your castle gets attacked, the enemy catapult needs an additional shot to break down that wall. And that's kind of cool when you consider what kinds of troops that you recruit from a knight castle. They're mostly grounded melee units, need a little bit of time for their turrets to do some work before they can engage an enemy. Fortifications are really cheap to build. It costs 1,500 gold, 5 wood, and 5 ore. That's just basically 5 more wood that you would build onto a turret. So turrets cost 1,500 gold and 5 ore. Just add 5 wood and you can fortify your walls. So the price is right. It doesn't cost any premium resources to build. Not that a knight really needs premium resources for their troops anyway, but we got to consider the benefit of fortifications. Yeah, having an extra shot take down a wall is kind of cool, but compared to the other buildings we'll see, this just isn't that impactful for me. Again, like the rainbow, it only comes into play when your castle's being attacked. If your castle's being attacked, you're probably going to lose it. I gotta go with a D tier on this one. The cost is really cheap, but the benefit's just not really there. Next up, we're going to talk about the dungeon. The dungeon is the unique building for warlocks. And what it does is it increases that castle's revenue by 1,000 gold. That's really impactful. Castles themselves generate 1,000 gold per turn. And if you have a dungeon in a castle, it's like you own 2 castles in that regard. You're making 2,000 gold per turn. That's really impactful. Now, the cost of building a dungeon is a lot higher than a fortification. We're saying it costs 3,000 gold, 5 wood, and 10 ore to build a dungeon. But it makes you so much money, it's worth building, and it's worth building early. You want to get as much money as you can out of that dungeon. And it's just like having a statue, which you can also build in a warlock castle as well. Now, a lot of that ore can be used to build crypts if you don't have one in your castle already, mage guilds, mazes, that sort of thing, and you're gonna need ore. 10 ore is a lot to devote to this, but you get 1,000 gold back. If you need that ore, just build a marketplace and use that gold to trade for ore, you know? In the long run, you're going to be making lots of gold. In the late game, you're going to need gold to get reinforcements. I think this is a super impactful thing. It doesn't come into play when the castle gets attacked. It's just there. benefiting you whenever it's built. Because of that impact, cost aside, I think we want to put this in A tier. This is an A tier building for me. Let's briefly talk about the Colosseum because it's kind of like the Rainbow with some minor differences. This is the Barbarian's unique castle. Instead of affecting luck, it affects morale. In the exact same way, it gives +2 to morale for defending troops whenever that castle gets attacked. Now this is priced kind of similarly to a Rainbow, but it's just using different resources. A little more gold. It costs 2,000 gold, 10 ore, and 10 wood to build a Colosseum. And much like the Rainbow, it really only benefits you when that castle is getting attacked. It affects morale. Having high morale for defending troops increases the chances that they'll take another turn, get 2 turns in a row, get to attack twice. Now that's really impactful. I've talked a lot about luck and morale on this channel, how much I like it. The Colosseum to me is kind of on the same level as the Rainbow, since it does something similar. And the cost is also kind of similar. I can't argue with also putting it in B tier right now. Next building we're going to talk about is the library. Oh my god, the library is awesome. This is the unique building for the wizard. What it does is when you build it, it adds an additional spell to your mage guild for every level. That means you get 2 5th level spells, 3 4th level spells, etc. That is crazy. The library is kind of expensive. It requires every resource to build. It's like building another mage guild. It costs 1,500 gold and 5 of every other resource: wood, ore, gems, crystal, sulfur, and mercury. But the benefit is unbelievable. You also need to build the library in order to upgrade your ivory tower to get Archmagi. The impact that the library has is just, I can't ignore it. This is S tier for me. This is a big reason why I like to play as wizards over any other alignment. Library is going to be in the S tier for me. I want to talk about the Necromancer buildings. Now, the Necromancer is the only one that gets 2 buildings, the Storm, and in the expansion pack, they get the Shrine as well. Storm is just like the Rainbow and the Colosseum. It only benefits defending heroes and captains instead of troops. It adds +2 to their spell power when they're defending a castle. I love spell power. It's one of my favorite skills in the whole game because I like casting a lot of spells. Bumping your captain from spell power 2 to spell power 4 means you're going to be dealing more damage. Other spells will last longer. Spells like slow and blind, things you need to have a chance to win when defending a castle. But again, this is only beneficial when your castle's getting attacked. And if your castle's getting attacked, you're probably losing it anyway. And another thing to consider with the Storm too is that it is really expensive to build. Storms require only 1,000 gold, but 10 sulfur and 10 mercury. Sulfur is the most important resource for the Necromancer. You need it to get liches and you need it to get bone dragons. And the Necromancer has the most expensive troops in the game, I think. And building a Storm early is just cutting yourself off at the knees. So you're only going to want to build it late when your castle's about to get attacked, if you even build it at all. Now, the thing that's saving a Storm is that it's affecting spell power directly and not just an intangible like morale or luck. However, it costs too much and it doesn't have that much relevance. This is C tier for me, maybe even D tier. Maybe we flip-flop these when I'm in a different mood or something, but not that impactful of a building. Shrines, on the other hand, we're going to talk about for a little while. Shrine it has to be S tier. What a shrine does is it increases the necromancy skill of all your necromancers. That means if your necromancer has basic necromancy, they essentially now have advanced necromancy. And this stacks as well. You can have multiple necromancer castles with multiple shrines and all of them affecting all your necromancers. Now, your hero's necromancy skill is capped. You can't increase it beyond being able to raise 90% of enemy troops after winning a battle, but that's 90%. You kill 1,000 peasants, you get 900 scalamans, baby. And it only affects necromancers. It doesn't affect warlocks, who can also get necromancy, or any other hero who you've given necromancy to at the start of a campaign, like Corlagon, who's technically a knight, but has the necromancy skill, something like that in the campaign. The shrine is the building that costs the most gold. It costs 4,000 gold to build it. It also costs 10 crystal and also 10 wood. So it's kind of pricey, but again, it's worth it. This is S tier for me, for sure. You know, looking at this tier list, I kind of surprised myself by putting fortifications in D tier over Storm, Rainbow, and Colosseum, because I'm never that excited to build any of those buildings, but I have used fortifications in the past. So I don't know, I'm going to leave the tier list as is. I'm going to stand by my choices for the reasons I mentioned. Let me know in the comments how you would have ranked these buildings. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you all for watching Kelvin's Coin TV. My name is Ross. This has been Heroes of Might and Magic 2. tier listing the unique buildings. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.